What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Total Takedown. We are talking UFC Rio this week, and we're looking overs and unders, trying to find a different angle for you to make some cash gambling at UFC on Saturday. Do me a favor, guys, get subscribed if you haven't. Hit that like button for me, and let's get into it. The first total I want to bring to your attention is Beatriz Mesquita taking on Irina Alekseeva. We've got a 1.5 total here. Women's MMA action. If you're getting a 1.5, you kind of know what's up already here on this one. Now, we've got a world-class grappler taking on a middling MMA fighter, right? So if Beatrice is able to get this fight to the ground, she's going to tie Irina Alekseeva into a pretzel, and I'm not joking about that. I kind of like the under 1.5 here. It's plus 120. We think that Beatrice is going to get the submission, and with these prospects that are very new to MMA, that are very specific in a certain style, they usually go to that and they go to it hard, right? Like we see a lot of round one subs from these jiu-jitsu people when they're first getting into the UFC, when they're taking on that lower level of competition, people that don't have the skill set, that don't have the defense. And then the flip side of that is if they aren't able to get their game going, they are fully capable of being exposed and finished themselves. So if she gets stuck on the feet, if she's not able to get the grappling going, then you've got a spot where Irina Alekseeva might be able to actually hurt her on the feet, get a finish, hit her with a knee on the entry, something like that. So I actually kind of like this plus money under 1.5. Ricardo Ramos and Con Ofli, this one's set at 2.5. Slight juice to the over, minus 140, somewhere in that ballpark. I kind of lean towards the over in this spot just because Ricardo Ramos, he struggles with quitting in some of these fights. We've seen him broken. We've seen him leave his neck out there. We've seen him get caught. He has got the skill set where you can finish, but he's taking on a guy in Con Ofli who wants to grind up against the fence. So if you're getting close to breaking, if you've got that mental barrier coming up on you, but your opponent isn't really like pushing you, then you might just accept that position and sit and chill. So I think we're going to get lots of grappling. I think we're going to get lots of cage grinding. Maybe he stays at range and he just kind of picks and pokes it awfully without letting him get too close to him. I can see a lot of different ways where this one goes a little bit longer than maybe you would expect. So Ricardo Ramos, I'm kind of thinking by decision. We'll say over 2.5 at minus 140. Not a lot of totals that I'm in love with here this week, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Yoel Alvarez and Vicente Luque is the next one I want to talk about here. 1.5 total, under is minus 145. I'm okay to lay the chalk here. I think this is going to be an extremely violent fight. Yoel Alvarez fights usually are, and while Vicente Luque has been focusing on his grappling far more often recently, this is not a guy that's going to be safe to do that against. And if we do get in grappling scrambles, I think both these guys are super live for a submission opportunity here in this fight. So under 1.5 with a little bit of chalk, I like that. Davison Figueiredo and Montel Jackson. I want to kind of look at this over 2.5. It's minus 195. It's a little bit gross. It's a little bit sticky. I don't really want to lay that kind of a chalk on this spot, but Montel Jackson can be a little bit low volume. If he's pot shotting and Davison Figueiredo is looking for takedowns, which is what we've seen him do recently, we could end up in a lot of grappling situations. And the one thing about Davison Figueiredo is he is incredibly strong. The other thing about Davison Figueiredo is he is incredibly durable. So I could see Montel Jackson winning this fight, even winning some of the striking exchanges, and still not quite being able to get Figgy out of there. I know on Monday I predicted the Montel Jackson by knockout. I'm kind of thinking back on that a little bit here at this point in the week. I'm kind of thinking it's Montel Jackson by decision. And if Davison Figueiredo is going to win this fight, it's going to be a grimy decision where he's just strong enough to hit these takedowns. I'm not sure if he's going to have success with that, but if he does, the over 2.5 is the way to go. So I'm kind of leaning more towards over 2.5. Let's talk briefly here about the main event of the evening, Charles Oliveira and Mateusz Gamrot. We have a 3.5 total. Now, if you guys know my boy Yanni the Greek, he's always talking about the 3.5. So you blindly bet these things over and you print money. We've got even money, plus 100 on the over 3.5. And I actually think the over 3.5 might be the way to look. Now, this one's going to get sketchy. This one's going to get scary. Charles Oliveira is a fighter who can finish anybody in this weight class. We have seen Mateusz Gamrot getting hurt, slowing down, getting rocked multiple times over the course of his last couple fights. We are this close to this guy getting finished, and we've seen it time and time and time again. However, he keeps digging deep and pulling through. He keeps not getting finished. I actually think Charles Oliveira is very live for a finish in this fight because he's coming off just getting cracked in his last fight. I think Mateusz Gamrot, believe it or not, might be capable of finishing Charles Oliveira, but I think both these guys are going to need to get worn down before that happens. Like I said on my Monday show, I kind of think this is a round 3, 4, or 5 finish situation. I kind of like this over 3.5. It's going to get scary. round 2, someone's going to get clipped and rocked. It could be either guy, you don't know which one, but I think they're both going to be able to dig deep, stay in this fight, and get it up and over. We're going to have to rely on the grappling of Mateus Gamrot to get us there. He's going to have to stay safe, and we're going to have to grind our way up and over this 3.5 total. We could go all the way to a decision. I think it's a late finish, but if we can get 3.5 rounds, we cash an even money ticket. So that is the total takedown for UFC Rio, you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hit that like button, get subscribed, and I'll be right back with Clint's Hot Props.